We use the Ferber method.
We use the Focker method. We hugged and kissed that little prince like there was no tomorrow.
Focker out.
Welcome to The Good, The Bad, and The Sequel. This is the movie podcast where we're talking sequels, and we do it in two parts. The first, an interview with an actor, someone involved that made the film worth watching. And the second, a discussion of the sequel, what they got right, what they got wrong, and how it could have been better. Really hope you enjoyed last week's interview with actor Jack Plotnick. He's been in over 160 things. We talked about his first big break on Conan O'Brien as the man with the organs on the outside of his body. Great stories about working with Bob Odenkirk on Mr. Show, Chris Farley, his Seinfeld audition, and so much more. So if you haven't listened to that, check it out after this week's, this movie. I had this. This is a Hollywood Video pre-owned DVD buy that I watched so much, and I remembered a lot of it. But was a lot different watching it 17 years later. Before talking about Meet the Fockers, I got to introduce you to my partner in this sequel watching journey, Jamie Riccardi. Jamie, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Focker, how are you doing?
Focker. I'm doing pretty good, Focker. A real funny story I have to say before we start. So the MPAA wouldn't let them put Focker on the movie poster unless they found an actual Focker family.
Are you serious?
So then they were legally allowed to put it. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's a great story.
That is amazing.
You know, I got to say, and I don't know, by you saying it's a lot different seeing it now than you did back then, if you're going to have the same view as me. I remember, I love the first movie. I think the first movie is a top 20 comedy of all time. You know, it's definitely awesome. Yeah, I love the first movie. Second one, I thought I liked a lot. And it is funny. It definitely has its moments, but it's way cornier than I remember it to be. And I don't think it's as good as I remember it. I thought it was much better. And there's definitely a scene that, to me, it's just kind of like the scene with the cat. Just once that happened, I'm like, all right, forget it. It's not the same movie I thought. You know what scene I'm talking about?
Are you talking about when he flushes the dog?
Yes. That from there on, I'm like, all right, this is not the movie I remember.
Oh, man. No, what I remember is I remember a lot of lines, so a lot of times when we get to the parts, I'll do my best Bernie Focker impersonation, but there's just, it's so weird. We always say the word, sometimes like the word dated. And there's some movies like we say dated and it's like, it doesn't mean exactly what we mean. This movie, there's jokes in this that are so dated. If somebody watches for the first time today and you were sitting next to them and they didn't laugh at jokes that we're going to talk about, I'd be like, oh, no. That was supposed to be funny in 2004.
Yeah, it's
or whenever this came out.
I sat down with my wife. My wife was excited to see it again. She sat down. Within like 15 minutes, she goes, this movie stinks. She got up and walked away. So she didn't finish it, and she was like talking about it all day. She's like, I haven't seen it in so long. And yeah, the amazing part is after watching it, I'm like, there's a third one. And I remember the third one not being good. So what made them think like, if this, I don't know how this did in the theater, but there's a third one, there's another one after this, which I think I'd be afraid to watch.
Well, this one was the highest grossing one of the franchise, and also Robert De Niro's most grossing movie ever.
This movie? That's amazing. Yeah. And I could see it being highest grossing only because the first one was so successful. Everybody thought this movie would be like awesome. You know what the problem is? I think part of it is, De Niro's character was amazing in the first one. Like, just to have that father like that. But to continue the same thing with Focker, it kind of like, I feel like it lost its luster a little bit. Like it was like, they dumbed down De Niro so much. Like he didn't feel like a threat this movie. Like the first movie, he was a threat. Like, he was like, anybody that comes near, like he was a scary dude. Like this movie, he was like they just dumbed him down too much.
Well, this is where they jumped the shark. There was obviously analyze this, analyze that. And then in those movies, he didn't really do, but these movies like changed his whole career, really.
Yeah.
Because from then he did like a movie called The Intern. He did Bad Grandpa. He did Another grandpa movie recently.
I would say yes. I would say Meet the Parents was probably his start of the comedy and getting away from the gangster movies and into the comedy world, and that's what he did. I mean, and it worked for a little while, and then like you watch some of his recent comedies, and they're horrendous.
What, the one with him and Morgan Freeman versus like his grandson or something? War with Grandpa.
He was one of the greatest actors of all time, and I think like someone like Jack Nicholson, he hasn't made a movie in a long time, and he's going out on top. You know, he made like Anger Management, which was awesome, and then like you don't hear about him because he went out on top. I feel like De Niro should have stopped a long time ago, and he's not, and his legacy is just going downhill.
Yeah, no, that's true. I love that you mentioned Anger Management. That's in the top 5 Sandler movies. That's a great
easily,
movie.
Yeah. And the best part is Sandler wasn't even the funny guy in that movie. I mean,
no.
Nicholson crushed it. But yeah.
Wow. Well, let's get into this movie because this is like, I don't even know if this company's defunct now, but I don't know if DreamWorks is. I'm sure DreamWorks is still around, but I'm telling you, this era of these movies, this old school. There was like so many movies that had that intro. Even Step Brothers, I believe, was DreamWorks. And then you get Randy Newman starting the movie off.
The king of like 80s and 90s theme songs. Like, really.
Yeah.
You know what is? I almost feel like Kenny Loggins passed the torch to Randy Newman. Like, Kenny Loggins had so many, hits in the 80s for movies, Caddyshack, Top Gun, and everything. And then he, over the top, and then he handed it off to Newman. Toy Story, and he just Toy Story, Naked Gun. Randy Newman really So I was surprised to hear Randy Newman.
He passed it along.
He did pass it along.
And then, so this is the opening scene of the movie. You have like a foreign couple that is having their baby, and then we see Greg Focker, and then I wrote down, I wonder if back in 2000, I should know when this came out. I feel like 2004 because I keep saying that. That I found the male nurse joke funny. Like, I don't know.
Well, back then, I mean, listen, there's a lot of PC jokes in this movie, with De Niro and Focker. Listen, his name is Gaylord. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I know.
I don't know if that's going to be funny today as much either, but yeah, the male nurse, not really that funny anymore. It was funny back then because how many, I think it was a hidden taboo. There weren't that many male nurses, I guess, or they just weren't known. But yeah, it just the joke. That's what I mean. Like, it was funny in the first movie, but to keep doing the running male nurse joke, it kind of fell flat.
Yeah, no. And I wrote down, like, the times they did it, I'm like, they just kept going to that well of the nurse, like, even in, like, the next scene. So, again, things that were kind of funny again. Gaylord. I'm not saying it's still funny, but it's always just a funny sounding name for a person.
Well, have you ever met a Gaylord? Name.
Well, I only know Gaylord Perry, the picture that was on the Kansas City Royals.
That's what I mean. Like, is like, are there a lot of Gaylords out there? I mean, I've never. I mean, not even. I don't think I've ever come close to meeting a Gaylord.
Yeah, and come close to me. I met a Gabe, and then Gaylord was next in line.
Wait, you're comparing Gabe to Gaylord?
No, I'm saying you just said I never met I never came close to meeting a Gaylord. So I was saying you met a Gabe, and then Gaylord was the next person. Alphabetical order now?
Usually it's by last name, not first name, right?
This is a first name. This is a Prince concert. You only go by your first name at a Prince concert. But it was kind of funny when he's like, I want to name my baby after you because there was no doctor. So Greg delivered his first ever baby. And when the guy lifts the name tag, it says Gaylord Focker. And the guy's like, ugh.
Well, he was like almost on board before he lifted his shirt up. He was like, we owe you one. Yeah, sure. And then he looked at it. Yeah.
That could be a total Curb episode. Not like Larry's going to have a kid anytime soon, but that is like a Curb Seinfeld joke. I'll name my kid after you. You saved my life. And the guy's name's like Adolf.
Well, you know what? I mean, honestly, I think Meet the Fockers and Meet the Parents is sort of like a Curb episode. Like all the jokes are totally Larry. Like De Niro would be Larry. Like just some of the questionable things he does.
And then Greg's parents, so great. Like, they are the greatest part of the movie. They steal it. Like, Dustin Hoffman, how about this? The people are almost cast. You ready for this? James Brolin was the first one that was approached. All right. He turned it down. And then Jay Roach approached Dustin Hoffman and then hired him on the spot because Hoffman would not stop talking like Bernie.
To me, Hoffman was the best part of this movie. Like, he was great.
Oh, him and Barbara Streisand.
Barbara Streisand did a much better job than I expected. I'm just like, I don't know how they got her to do it. Because first of all, she's known to be like a prima donna, like big time, so,
yes.
And she's not really an actress. She made Yentl like 40 years ago,
and Star is Born. That's like,
but in the 70s,
things,
like early 80s. So like to come up with her, I guess, there weren't that many Jewish actresses, right?
Well, I was reading something that she she didn't act for 23 years, which is a long time. I think that's 81.
That's what I mean.
Probably is.
Right, yeah.
Yentl and Star is Born. She didn't like it because she liked being involved in like the producing and all of that. So this is like the first time she did it and she like actually had fun. But I loved her.
No, she did a
seeing her in that role. It's like one of those things like seeing somebody in a certain role when you're like, that's not who they really are. But it's
it's the casting director, whoever casted her, because 100%. Like I said, she's known to be like difficult and like a really, like, she's like the original Beyonce. Like, she really was like a prima donna back in the day. Like, you can only film certain angles of her. I remember my parents telling me this about her. Like, she was just very, like who she thought she was. So she totally let her guard down in this movie. Like, the way she acted is not the way she's been so she probably had a lot of fun. Like, listen, she got older and she's like, you know what? Gone are my singing days. Let me have a little fun with this. And she nailed it. She really did.
She looks pretty hot too. I'm not gonna lie.
That's not that crazy. That's not that crazy.
And then another thing, you don't know if anything's are 100% on like.
Wait, you really thought Barbara Streisand was hot?
She looked pretty good. Yeah.
Oh, I think maybe you
and
like
Dina. I think Dina looked great.
Dina looked way better than Barbara Streisand. Barbara Streisand hot. I don't think really, like, I just think you liked her career.
I celebrate her whole catalog. So how about this? This is one of those things you don't know if it's 100%, but Robin Williams was actually offered the role and he turned it down because he was good buddies with Dustin Hoffman and he thought he could work. And in my head, I'm like, dude, Robin Williams would have been too much. For a movie with all this going on. I love Robin, but I don't know. He would just not have stopped, and it might have not been as funny because I love Dustin when he turned into like a baby. When he turned into like a baby and he was doing like the baby talk.
No, I disagree. I think Robin Williams could have done it because in Birdcage he didn't really let it out. Like he was reserved.
Yeah.
So I think he could have, but like I don't see, like, obviously the whole point was like they're two Jewish, like really Jewish parents. I don't see Robin Williams as that. Dustin Hoffman, is the Jewish dad, like, without a doubt. And I love the fact that he, with his role, he was funny a lot, but he also had that serious side about like his son, like, we don't change for anybody. Like, I love that how he acted like a real dad. Like, he acted like the cool, like, they really made De Niro such a douche in this movie, like, and they all agreed, like, really. That was awesome. But yes.
Well, he was. We'll get into some very questionable things that he does. But, so then Greg's super nervous about his parents meeting the Byrnes for the first time, which is, like, kind of crazy because I think they're dating almost over 2 years.
Yeah.
Like, easy. But one line I always remember is their answer machine. Which you hear about like 5 or 6 times. I want a chimichanga, so make a chimichanga.
See, now that's a joke that it was funny the first time, but we've heard that answer machine, like you said, about 4 or 5 times.
I know.
So after like the second time, it should have like stopped. But no, they kept going. But yes, you could totally see them. They act like typical Florida grandparents, and just don't realize what's going on, what modern technology is, and yeah.
And then you have he's so nervous, but then everything works out for him. And I think it's so cool to call back to the first movie that you had the same flight attendant that he said, bum, 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 bum. And she gave him like a little look.
Well, but I thought it was going to go somewhere. Like, because he gave her a look, like he totally recognized her. They made it look like she wasn't sure, maybe, but like it didn't go anywhere. Like that was a joke waiting to happen, and nothing happened.
Yeah, I guess because it would have ruined the flow with the little montage. Because it was funny. I was like, oh no, there's no coach seats left. And they're like, oh, what do we have to wait to the next flight? No, I guess we're gonna have to bump you up to first class. And then the rental car with last week's guest Jack Plotnick.
Yep.
He was like, it was such a small scene, but he was so nervous having to throw the keys because Ben insisted on him throwing the keys. And he's like, what if I throw him too hard and I like scratch the star's face? And then they have to take weeks off of the movie, or they have to put makeup on it. It looks bad. And he was like in fear of throwing these keys.
Isn't that funny? Because it's such a simple little thing, but like I guess an actor like really thinks about those things when they're dealing with like a big star. That is funny. But that was a great scene. And like you're right, the montage was so funny because it's like everything in his life is perfect. Everything is working out so great. Like what can possibly go wrong?
Well, the rental insurance.
Well,
yeah, you don't really need this. This is a scam anyway, right? And he's like, yeah, it's a scam.
Well, you knew as soon as he said that, something's going to happen real soon. Yeah. They really didn't waste time with that either. That happened pretty quick.
They did. And then we get the Burns family when they finally arrive. And Jack and his daughter have a very weird relationship. Like the nicknames, I don't know. Are there people out there that have nicknames for like their daughter, and then the father has one like Pancake, Flapjack?
But isn't Flapjacks another name for like a breast?
Oh, I don't know. That doesn't sound flattering.
Well, I didn't say it's flattering, but isn't it like floppy boobs?
I don't know. Damn, that girl got some flapjacks.
Well, listen, Jack's relationship with everybody is awkward. I mean, even the kid. I mean, like, so Jack has issues. Like, so I'm not surprised that he has an awkward relationship with his daughter because really the only person he doesn't have a relationship with is his wife.
Yeah, that's true. No, he is just so ridiculous. And with the daughter, and then, like you said, little Jack, and then this is where we get the second male nurse joke when we see the nurse card, and he, so tiring. Like hearing it again,
I know.
It's just like,
But you know what though? I gotta tell you, the baby did an incredible job.
They were twins.
I know. Yeah. Well, usually when they have something like
that's
that,
true. Yeah,
they have the crying baby and the happy baby, so they got to switch it off. But not the baby, but the twins, they crushed it. I mean, like,
oh yeah,
I don't know how they taught those kids some of the things they did in this movie. Like, it's amazing. I mean, there was a.
What do you mean saying assaul? Asshole well, 9 times?
Asshole.
That's a record.
What is?
It was a record for DreamWorks, the most curse words ever said by a minor in a movie.
But okay, so it's a baby saying it in a movie. He's not going to bring it home with him, so that kid's not going to be saying it at home like all the time.
Well, the parents don't care because he's in SAG.
No, okay, is the cat in SAG? But you know what?
Oh no, so I was going to say the method of De Niro.
Which method?
Is the fact that he like spent time with the kids. Because he wanted to be like a real relationship. So when he wasn't on set, he was like hanging with the kids and playing with the two kids. So there was like real chemistry. And that's
listen, the actors don't do that today. I mean, the only one I could see doing that is DiCaprio. Is like, like being the character, like really like, but that's De Niro. Like, I mean, he wanted to make sure. And you know what? It worked because the relationship he had with that kid was perfect. Like, it was great. But I wonder if the opposite happened with Stiller. That he purposely like scared the kid off camera a few times and like just started like throwing things at him. So then when he's on stage, on set with him, the kid was like deathly afraid of him because he was crying every time he saw him. Yeah, so I wonder if he like tortured him, like teased him with like cookies and just ate in front of him.
And I love that the part I did like about Jack was how no matter what, Greg could have done something or not done anything. And the way he just flips out on him, the kid, little Jack headbutts Greg. And within a second, he's like, "Oh, Focker, what'd you do?"
Well, listen, that does not get, to me, that doesn't get old. The name Focker, whoever came up with that, is genius. Because just the way De Niro says Focker all the time is just, I think that joke can keep going, and I'll laugh every time.
Oh, yeah, when they say we're having a party and there's over 50 Fockers that that joke.
It really is. Like, it's a genius. Like, whoever wrote that joke is a genius. Like, that's like, who would come up with something like that? It just doesn't, like, you know, and the fact that there really are Fockers out there is amazing.
That is amazing. And then we have Jack, instead of flying to Florida, he has like the John Madden kind of like Winnebago that has like everything in it. And the part we just talked about with the rental, when he goes, "Greg, this is Kevlar, you know, the times that we live in." I guess that's kind of like a terrorism joke because 9/11 was a few years before. "Throw this brick right out the window." I'm like, you know what's funny? He says to throw a brick out the window, right? Few seconds before, he wipes his smudge that when Greg touches the door.
Well, it protects from everything but, like, you know, sweat.
Sweat, yeah.
That's the only thing that can penetrate the Kevlar.
I just love that the brick, as soon as it hits, you know, boom, right through the windshield, and then they just leave.
Do you
cover it with a bag?
Do you think that a brick would bounce like that, though?
I don't know, maybe.
I mean, because it bounced like a beach ball. Like, he threw it against the bus or the whatever, the RV, and it literally bounced across the driveway to the car into the windshield. I don't think that would happen.
I would think it would just deaden, right?
Yeah, it would like hit
anything.
it would hit it and then fall to the ground. I don't think it's gonna bounce. Do you think Jack set him up? Like, knowing like what was gonna happen? Because listen, Jack is pretty smart, and you know he has a lot of skills. You think he was like, "Listen, I want to get this Focker.
I want to get this Focker." He's out there. Okay, I'll make sure Greg stands here, and he's practicing hitting targets, throwing the bricks, boom, 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 and he's like, "All right, great, I'm gonna get him."
See,
Dina's like, "What are you doing, Jack? Nothing."
Because I mean, listen, I feel like Stiller is in both movies is constantly being set up to fail. Like so I wouldn't be surprised if Jack knew exactly where, you know, he had to throw that brick to land on the car.
Then we get Mr. Jinx is back for the sequel. We talked to him before. He leaves the bathroom in this one because he knows how to flush the toilet, and he even has toilet paper stuck to his paw.
It's so stupid.
See, that's funny.
It was so dumb.
Holy shit, man. And then the captain, this whole scene, I'll always remember this whole scene. So again, I think it goes to what you were just saying, like how he kind of like just bullies and belittles Greg because he's like, "Here's my co-captain." And that whole scene.
I wrote something down, and I'm trying to think of what he said to, like, you want to push your horn, Jack? Or no, he goes to go to Ben Stiller. He goes, "You want to push your horn?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Only the captain could do it." Like he teased him. He's, you know, like, because Ben Stiller, I guess, was gonna. What was he gonna do? He was gonna sit. He was gonna turn the radio.
No,
on
he wanted to do the radio.
Right. Okay. And he says only the captain could do that. And then, like, right after that, he's like, "Do you want to push the horn? You want to try the horn?" And he's like, "Sure." He goes, "Nah, only the captain could do it." So he totally set him. It's like he teased them like a big brother. It's like he was like dangling, you know, like the things he could do, but you know he can't.
But I do love that when he convinces him to honk at the girls in the bus. Honk if you're horny. I'll always remember that. And I don't know, like,
wait, why would you remember that? Why do you remember that scene?
It was probably paused every time my parents put it in.
There was nudity, right? There was nudity.
There was only a little bit.
There was a boob and a mooning.
But I don't think that was a male ass. I don't think that was a woman's ass.
It was a bus of cheerleaders. I
know that, but that was not a girl's ass.
I think it was. I didn't see any male on that bus. So you're saying that woman? So you're saying the woman who mooned had like a hairy ass?
Or it was Dumb and Dumber, and they picked up Lloyd and Harry, and they were on that bus.
So you're saying it's a connection to Dumb and Dumber? It probably came out around the same time.
Yes. No.
Okay.
Like 10 years difference, but But in that world, Harry and Lloyd could still be on that, you know.
Well, if it was Harry and Lloyd, they probably would have been mooning the other way, facing the other direction.
Yeah, yeah, right. That would be them. So then we have, oh my God, the first time. So this is where I think De Niro jumps the shark as like him going from like just being a comedic guy to like really.
Okay, he's a CIA agent who's tough as nails. Doing what he's about to do is so over the top and ridiculous. And how old is this kid? How old? You have a young child.
I would say he's definitely younger than Emerson. He's got to be like around 2, I think.
You think young?
Maybe 1.5.
He looked pretty old.
Kid's barely walking.
Well, you don't know that. They're not letting him walk.
We saw him like move a little bit.
He opens the gate himself and he walked out. Yeah, I bet you
he wasn't that big.
For breastfeeding, I think he's a little big.
I'm not gonna lie. There's people that me and my wife know that were breastfeeding until their kid was like 4 years old, which is creepy.
That is creepy. And you know them You know them personally?
Yes.
Okay.
They might listen to this podcast.
Doug, was that you?
Yeah, it was me. My mom listens. But no, the fact that he has this boob thing. All right.
Okay.
What's creepy is he has the boob thing, right? What's even creepier is it's a mold to his daughter's breast.
100%. 100%. That is and yeah, and he's asking people to feel it. And let's be honest, yeah. Ben Stiller takes a long time to feel it. Like, I mean, like he acted like he was awkward to touch it, and then he wouldn't let go.
Oh, no, he would not. And he goes, I guess this is what I would imagine that her breast does feel like.
That whole scene was extremely awkward.
Yeah.
And okay, so let's just say Jack made this thing. Wouldn't he make it like so like it's not just sticking out the whole time, like, put a little pocket that he could just like unbutton to let the boob out? To make it a little bit more, just to walk around with like a half a boob out.
And he loads it like a gun when he pushes it in like it's like a World War II gun.
That's what I mean. Like he's so high tech and he's so like tough. If his CIA agents buddies saw this, he would never hear the end of it.
I know. Well, we'll get into his CIA status later in the movie because. There's some weird things that happen. And
he seems awkward. He also seems a little awkward later on. Like, I don't know if he's just, I don't know. We'll get there. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, but how about, again, how creepy he is? In this movie, he's obviously creepy in the first one. He has cameras everywhere in the first one, and Eyes on You, Circle of Trust, like all these creep. In this movie, again, heightened. The fact that he has cameras on this Winnebago is creepy. The fact that the camera for his daughter's room, which I'm sure he knew that they're going to stay in, is like an above the camera one. And then he has one in his bed right next to, like right on his, like side table, staring right at him. And he's staring at Focker.
Well, I mean, he probably has one in his bedroom for him and his wife.
Oh, they're recording all this, you think? You think he's recording all this for later?
No, I'm talking about the fact that maybe his wife and they like to videotape themselves when they're intimate.
Oh, okay.
That I'm okay with. The daughter's room, because it makes me, more than the fact that, okay, it's the daughter's breast in the mold. Do you think he did the molding?
Oh, 100%. He's a hands-on guy. Sure.
Okay, so right. So he did the molding. He's got a camera in. He seems to have a camera in every bedroom, everywhere he goes. But Focker finds out later on, so he can't fool Focker anymore.
That was great. That was a great end credits after credit scene. But I do love when he comes up because Jack hurts his back. Greg has to drive, and he goes, "Don't go over 55." And everybody's like, he's holding up traffic like crazy. But I do love when Jack comes in and he closed the doors. He's like, "Greg, would you like a cappuccino?" And he's like, "Oh, no, you don't have to go through that trouble. Oh, no, it's okay. Hey, Dino, wake up and make Greg a cappuccino."
And how awkward did Focker feel? Like he was just so uncomfortable. And then, but the fact that he has why would he need soundproof, doors there.
That is weird. Really.
Like, what's he doing up there?
Is this, wait, that's really weird.
Yeah.
So you're, yeah, well, like, what if his wife was having a heart attack? Well, I guess he has cameras to watch that.
He doesn't seem like a guy that's going to be blasting music. That's the only reason why I would think you would need it. Outside of that, why else would he need it? Because he's not putting music on. Because there's no music on when he's driving. So why would he need it? It's like if he's going to pick up a hitchhiker and kill him, and he doesn't want anyone in the back seat to hear.
Wow. That'd be a twist in the movie if he was doing that.
I wouldn't put it past him.
He was really a murderer, not really in the CIA. And then we get the whole creepy scene when he's talking to Greg about meeting his family and making sure everything's right with them because I can't have a chink in my chain. And dude, the pressure that is on Greg is insane. Like, really, this guy is already stressed out because he's hidden his friggin' overbearing future father-in-law from his parents that are a little off. And then he has to deal with this guy talking about that this weekend's like a make or break that he can like have a kid.
But see, that's a running joke from the first movie. It's like, I don't know. I feel like it was, I don't know. I wasn't sold on it as much. Like, I get it. He's embarrassed. I could see it more as being embarrassed by his parents than afraid for Jack.
Yeah.
But I think it was more about being afraid of Jack than embarrassed of his own parents.
Yeah, because his parents were just super nice, super hippies.
Well, they were just,
that's all it was.
That's what it was. They're super hippies that show a love and affection, which Jack does not show at all to anybody. Yeah. So, I mean, that's what it was. But yeah, no.
And then God, I love Dustin Hoffman in this whole movie.
Well, I love the fact that they're hiding two different. They're hiding that Jack's a CIA agent, and they're hiding Barbara Streisand's job as a sex therapist.
Sex therapist,
which
with Larry David's father from Curb.
Yep,
is the judge in the movie.
And I forgot that she was. So when I'm watching it, I was just thinking that she was doing like old people yoga. Like, I really wasn't until they started sitting on each other. I'm like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah. This is what she does. Oh God. And he's like the perfect, like, overbearing, like, Jewish dad.
Oh.
And I love how he mocks Jack. Like, I forgot, what's his nickname for Jack in the movie? Oh, El Jacko. He calls him Jacko. And then he calls him, like, El Stiffo.
He's such a Florida guy. Like, the fact he's doing, Tai Chi on the front lawn. Like, in pajamas.
Capoeira. He's doing the capoeira. Yeah.
No, Dustin Hoffman was absolutely perfect for the role. He was just, he nailed it.
I'm a manly man, and I shake hands because I'm a man.
Meanwhile, it's funny. I looked it up because I know Ben Stiller's not tall. I thought Dustin Hoffman was shorter than that, but Dustin Hoffman is like 5'7" or 5'6", and Ben Stiller's only like 5'7". So like they're almost the same height.
Wow.
Yeah.
Perfect casting.
There was, but I always thought Dustin Hoffman was smaller.
Most of those people are really small.
They are, but I thought he was smaller. But
smaller than 5'7"?
Dustin Hoffman, he always comes across like as a smaller guy. Like, how tall do you think his face is? Martin Short. He's got to be right there.
Oh, he's got to be. Yeah, that's true. It's true.
And you know what? It's funny. I can see Martin Short in that role. But Dustin Hoffman, just being the dad and just over the top kind of.
Oh hell yeah! No, he's great. And then just his whole. I don't know. He like speaks in. I don't know. Not saying he speaks in rhymes the whole movie, but he has this flow to his speak when he talks about like the rules of the house and the island water's low. So if it's mellow, let it. If it's mellow.
He said if it's yellow, let it mellow.
Oh, it's yellow, let it mellow.
Flush it down. No, that's for the toilet.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Yeah, for the toilet.
Well, first of all, they live in a pretty nice house and like they have a lot of property. What do they do? Oh, well, he was a lawyer, back in the day. I mean, a long time ago. And we learned about that. And then she's does she make that much money with her job?
Has a sex there? I don't know. How much do you charge for? There were a lot of old people.
But they're old.
Looking at bang in that room.
Do you think there's really a thing for old people like that? Because they look like they were in their late 70s, not even, I think 80s. They look like they were in their 80s. I'm not sure if they're going to be as frisky in your 80s. The way they were.
Well, that's why they need Roz's sex class to get frisky.
Do you think they really have something like that in real life for 80-year-olds?
I don't know. They always say the nursing homes and those places, people are just banging.
They could barely walk down the hall. You think they're gonna, I don't know. I don't believe that. Or I could.
Hey, Joan, how'd you break your hip? Did you fall? No, I was hanging out with Carl in 4C.
I could see one stud in the nursing home. Like every nursing home probably has one stud. I mean, I don't think it's maybe multiple, but there's probably one guy. Maybe he's younger than the other ones.
He's a lean 67.
Listen, I've seen
injury just to get in there.
Oh, well, listen, between Cocoon and Twilight Zone movie, when they all become young again, like all of them, even Cocoon, they all can barely walk. They walk slow. I don't see them having active sex lives.
That's true. And then we see Roz for the first time. And like you mentioned, like all those people are leaving. Greg saying, hey, I thought you weren't going to do any classes this weekend. And how about her? Just how great her line delivery. And again, it seems real. Like you said, Dustin Hoffman felt like a father.
Yep.
She felt like a mother, like an overbearing Jewish mother.
100%.
She was asking about sex life.
Yeah.
After 2 years, sometimes things can slow down.
Well, she obviously doesn't get embarrassed too easy. So she's definitely awkward. I mean, they both are. But you know what? I honestly felt like you said, both of them together are like great parents. Like I can see myself having parents like that. Like they were just like such good parents, loving parents to their. I guess you're so used to Jack, and then you see this. Like it was. I think they did a great job. They really seem like a married couple that just really adore their child.
Yeah,
but they adore him a lot.
Yeah, so much. Again, it's funny when I remember this movie, every scene with Dustin Hoffman is really funny. Like at lines, how about the duck hunting scene?
Oh.
When he's talking about like, oh, me and Greg went duck hunting. And he goes, you shot a duck? I shot at a duck? I missed. I think I missed.
I was waiting for Jack to say, "No, you blew his brains out." Remember? Like I could see him like coming back just to try to get him in trouble with his dad. Like that would be something I'm surprised Jack didn't do, because he heard it, he saw it coming. Like Jack's an instigator. Like he's such an instigator and a troublemaker that I'm surprised he didn't set him up for that.
No, yeah, you're right. But then we get the Wall of Gaylord.
That was awesome. In fact, what, 7th place, 9th place, 10th place, and then his jockstrap. That was the topper. Like, I totally forgot about that, and then, yeah, that was amazing.
And how, again, you're talking about how great of a dad he is when Jack says, oh, I didn't know they made 9th place ribbons, and deadpan, dead serious, oh, no, Jack, they make them all the way up to 10th place. Just like a real answer,
And that's what it was. It was like he was all serious, and it's funny. I mean, I knew like a lot of my friends that were only children, Jewish family. They're all like that. Like they're so proud of every little like thing they do, just like that. So like they really played it perfectly.
Yeah, good old Jewish dad. I never had any buddies that were like Jewish. That'd be really funny. Like just like celebrating like the little.
No, they really did. So I mean, they're not far from the truth of how they portrayed them. I mean, I'm not sure people really have 9th place ribbons on their wall, but that is pretty funny.
Oh wait, so since you're our expert for this, did any of your buddies' parents keep foreskin? Is that a thing?
I thought you're supposed to eat the foreskin. I'm being dead serious. I thought So the moil, I know the moil. You know what a moil is, right?
I know what the moil. That's
Okay.
the guy that cuts.
The
I
guy-
remember that from Seinfeld taught me that.
Okay, so I thought, and I could be wrong. I thought the men like cut it up and they take a piece of it, and I don't know. They sell. Well, it's supposed to be a whole big celebration. It's not supposed to be like like literally. I think a room is filled with men, the Jewish men, while they're watching the moil do it. It's not like, like, listen, when, you have a daughter. So when I had my son and the nurse wheeled him out to get it done, my heart sank. Like, I wanted to cry. Just because, as a guy, you're like, oh, because I have to bring my cat next month to get fixed. And I'm going to be upset about that. But imagine your child. And they don't, because, they're probably not. They're not going to give him any kind of like injection to numb it. Like they probably just put little like ice cubes.
But again, the difference between a human and a cat's getting fixed and they're getting their balls taken out. They're just trimming on a kid.
Okay. They're like it's like using like a cheese grater. You get a block of cheese and you're scraping it off. That's basically what they're doing.
Wait, maybe that's what the Jewish people do. All the men get around. They do it on a Tuesday, and they put on their tacos.
Ugh.
They call it a foreskin fiesta.
You think tacos is a big Jewish meal?
It just fit into my brain when I said foreskin fiesta.
Ugh, it's gross.
And then perfect segue to our third male nurse joke when it was like the greatest male nurse in the world on the trophy.
Ugh.
But man, whew. And another line, like I'm not even kidding. Every Dustin Hoffman line is one that I remember because they're just so good. Even one, me and my buddies when we were in high school when this came out, when he is trying to like befriend Jack because he knows it's important to his son. And he goes, Jack, let's go outside and have some drinks. And he puts his arm around him and he goes, we'll get drunk and piss in the lagoon. I've said that so many times in my high school days. Like,
but that's
because of this movie.
That's such a classic line. Like, Dustin, that just shows you what kind of free spirit he is. He's, and that's how cool is that? Like, imagine having your dad is the type that's going to drink and just piss in the lagoon. That's awesome.
I mean, yeah.
They really are.
And then we get
such
some cool callbacks. Some cool callbacks to the first movie when you didn't even think about it in the first movie, right? Did they reference in the first one that Greg didn't have a sister? No, right? When he said that, it was just, that's a fact.
It was just because he had to explain why he knew about milking a cat.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but it's not like later in the movie.
No, never came up again. Nothing came up again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no.
So that's what made that even funnier when he was like, with Greg being an only child and us only able to conceive one. And he just leans to him and he goes, I thought you had a sister. And he goes, huh? He goes, you told me you milked your sister's cat.
Well, that's why it was great because I think everybody forgot about it. So, when Jack says that, it brings back memories of like, oh my goodness, because we all forgot about it. I totally forgot about it. So yeah, that's awesome. That was a good throwback.
Yeah, and then like the whole thing, like you mentioned earlier with Dina and Jack, their relationship, and Muskrat is like their like safe word for don't talk about anything even more because he is so worried about little Jack throughout this movie. And again, I know that thing is like Fort Knox, like that Winnebago, but there's a lot of times in this movie the kid's just in there.
The kid
in his crib, and he has a camera everywhere.
Yeah. No, he seems to be a little too. First of all, why is he spending so much time with the kid in the first place? Where'd the parents?
Remember they said on their honeymoon, which is in the last movie, they went to, I forgot what country. Maybe I'll just say Singapore, but it was something like that. And they opened up an orphanage on their honeymoon. That's what they did.
Okay, but I mean, this whole movie, you don't see the daughter at all, and Jack's the kid. I mean, and this takes place over a couple of days. So, where are the parents? Did they
They weren't even at the wedding.
They
didn't fly back for the wedding.
That's what I'm saying.
Or even the son.
Do you think
he wasn't doing much? He was in Scary Movie. That's it.
Oh, that's right. Do you think they have custody of the kid?
Ooh, maybe something happened.
Because they really don't mention them outside of the mom's breast. They don't talk about her at all.
No, it was the mom's breast, and then right after that scene, they asked about it, and it said, oh, no, when they first saw him and they saw little Jack, they mentioned, oh, they're at the orphanage that they opened up when they were on their honey. But right, that's it.
But
nothing
okay, so
else.
this is a young baby you're going to just keep leaving behind?
Bad parenting.
Okay. All right.
Maybe she wants to be, if kids rebel, she wants to be the opposite of Jack. Jack was always there, CIA, all over them, opposite.
Yeah, but she also knows what kind of lunatic Jack is, and you're going to let this guy spend that much time with your kid?
Ooh, that is true.
I mean, so think about, okay, so if Jack is spending this much time with this kid, imagine what this kid's going to grow up to be. Okay, a young Jack.
Psycho.
I mean, 100% psycho. So this is like, see, that's a future movie. Young Jack.
Young Jack. Oh my God, like Psycho.
Yeah.
Like
or
Anthony
no, like
Perkins.
The Shining. Isn't that Jack?
Like this, yeah. No, but that is true. Like, I don't know how long he's been watching him, but he has his like regimen of what he's teaching him, the sign language and everything. What if they come back and they're like, "Oh, hey Jack, how you doing?" And he's like, "Don't talk to him like that." And it's like, holy shit, this guy just took over our kid.
100%. I mean, and like the mom is such a laid back woman. Like, I'm surprised that she allows this to go on. Because, like, you know what, though? I feel like behind closed doors, Jack's a little abusive.
Ooh,
because
she doesn't speak up.
She doesn't speak
scared.
up. She's very quiet when she's around Jack.
Wow.
So I think Jack might have some dark secrets. I think we got to put him to the lie detector.
Yeah. So then we get the next scene. We find out that Pam is pregnant. She tells Ben Stiller, Greg, and then the next scene was like the first one we talked about that you said really jumped the shark on the whole movie. Was when Mr. Jinx flushed Moses down the toilet.
The fact that he waited, like, and they're like, Jack's trying they're trying to negotiate with the cat because the dog was in the bowl, and they're talking to Jinx like, "Don't do it," and like Jinx is like looking at him like, I got you guys right now, and then he flushes the dog. Now, first of all, is the hole that big that the dog's going to go down the?
No.
Okay. I mean, I've never seen an RV toilet bowl, so maybe it's a little bigger. But wouldn't it, first of all, if it is big, wouldn't that be like dangerous?
Yeah,
because if the little kid is potty trained, he's sliding right back down there.
He falls in. He comes out looking like a little mini Blue Man Group. Which, honestly, that blue stuff.
I know.
I haven't seen that in toilets. Maybe that was maybe they banned that in 2000. Is that dog was covered in blue?
Well, that's
bad.
That's like airplane fluid. Like it's so. And they probably have the same kind of waste management as an RV because where's it going to go? So it goes in a tank. So maybe the blue is what stops the smell. So it's not. Maybe it's like a strong Clorox. I don't know.
If there's any waste management for airplanes or RVs or even Winnebagos, at Sequels Only on Twitter. Let us know what's going on.
Did we get past the part of Dustin Hoffman's one testicle?
Yeah.
Have we never?
Oh, that's the whole thing. He said, because I only have one testicle,
yes.
We can only conceive him. But what if I had two? Could you imagine what he would look like?
Because I wrote it down. I'm like, all I wrote down was one testicle, and I forgot where I was.
He looks like a young Jewish Marlon Brando. Oh, and then how about to end the scene, like to end that whole like drinking outside with the Tom Collins when he's like, I heard someone was a Tom Collins man, which is a cool throwback because Tom Collins was his name that he used at the bank and casino.
Oh, really?
De Niro. So the writer, that's cool that he put that in the first one for it.
Yeah.
But how about Dustin Hoffman mid-conversation? Flying backwards in the chair, end scene. That's it.
He was awesome. And you know what? For his age, he did a good physical comedy there. I mean, he was pretty good. But did he make anything after this movie? Like, I wonder if this is one of his last movies that he made, because I don't think he really did much.
Big? I don't know. I remember he had that show on Stars called Luck. Do you remember that one? It was on for a year or two. It was about, I think he owned a horse track or he was a horse owner. It was actually, I think it was pretty good. I don't know.
All right, Lucky.
He's old now.
It was Lucky, I think. It was called Lucky.
Yeah. Luck or Lucky, one of those. But he looks really old. He's like 84 now. He looks it.
No.
So,
listen, unfortunately, I think there's a whole slew of Hollywood people that you're going to start seeing pass away in the next couple of years, because there's like a whole slew of all those guys that are like just recently. Was it James Bond? Was Sean Connery just died, right? Or was it him that just died?
Sean Connery was a little while ago, yeah,
a couple of months ago, right? Or was it?
I think so. Recent.
But I think they're all like turning 90, 85, and I think unfortunately they're all getting old. Like it's a whole group of actors and actresses that were kind of came up together, So, yeah.
Like Dean Stockwell just passed away today or yesterday from Quantum Leap.
Yep.
They were talking about rebooting that show. So I don't know if they're still going to do it, but
with him?
Well, they can't now.
Too soon.
Too soon. But then, so oh my God, Isabel.
Oh
God, I love her because she can look like this, smoking hot. She's on Always Sunny in Philadelphia as a prostitute in an episode.
Oh, shocker.
She looks like this.
Shocker.
Yeah. And then in Waiting, she doesn't look like this. She's the bitchy waitress in Waiting with Ryan Reynolds, and she's so funny in that, but I love her in this movie.
Oh.
Her character's so great.
It really is. And the way she did, I mean, I don't remember her in Waiting. She doesn't sound like that, does she? Like, or she's
a real bit. No, she's like, no, she speaks just regular English, and she's like a huge bitch. She's the one when all of them are playing the ball games.
Okay.
They're showing their balls to each other.
Yeah.
She's the one who pulls up her, and you see her hairy vagina.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I remember.
Yeah.
But she played like just the accent and everything. It was like perfect. It was great.
Yeah. And the from going forward on in this movie, the whole thing that Greg and Pam want to do are we have to move this wedding up. Again, this freaking guy's in the CIA. He probably knows when they sleep with each other. Like, he's that creepy and into him. I'm sure he's hacking cell phones or anything. Do you think if you move the wedding up to next month, he won't do the math on a calendar and be like,
oh, of course.
You guys were pregnant.
Well, not only that, is it that easy to move a wedding that you already booked and it's already set with?
Well, they don't have anything but. No, this whole movie is so weird because you got to think Jack is like so, just the way he is, a control freak. There's no date because one of the lines he says when they're in the Winnebago, he goes, "Hey Jack, I had a few dates that I want to throw at you." He's like, "Oh, we'll talk about that after this weekend." And I'm like, "You want to get married in 6 months and nothing's booked?"
Okay, well, how about the fact that they decided to move it up a week, and they're able to book everything, like have everything else, like somehow everything's available.
Well, no, they got married on their property, didn't they?
Okay,
right
but they still got it catered. They still got they flew in Owen Wilson. They they got the decorations. I mean, in a week they were able to do everything.
Yeah.
I mean,
didn't Isabel do the catering or no?
She might have.
Little Jack is loving her boobs.
Oh.
He's going absolutely.
That I gotta be honest. Wait, I gotta be honest. That made me a little uncomfortable. That was definitely an awkward scene. I mean, it was funny at first when you see, but then like they really dragged that out and made the kid horny. Like the kid wasn't looking like. I feel like it was such like a over the top kind of. I don't know. It was weird. It was a weird scene. It really was.
And then they put him to bed right after that.
And then he had a cigarette and went to bed.
Yeah. And one of my favorite jokes in the entire movie is when Greg goes in to talk to Isabel like one-on-one. And he's like, "Hey, I'll tell Pam about us," and she's like very nice and everything. But he's like, "Not now, when we're ready." And as soon as he goes through those doors, it's like, and Greg lost his virginity to Isabel. That was so funny.
It was very funny.
The fact that 30 seconds of him like, "Hey, and I promise I'll tell her, blah, 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 blah," and then revealed.
No, that you know what, like that whole scene of just embarrassing him with, and that's the foreskin and everything, right? That's the same. Then opened at the album and everything. That was. I mean,
yeah.
You knew that. I mean, you knew that that's what, and I hate to say it, I think that's what Jewish parents do. Like, they get excited. They'll show you videos of the birth. You know, like, I mean, you know. Ugh. Imagine watching someone else's birth.
No. They tried to get us to watch it in school, The Miracle of Life. I did not go to class that day.
Listen, as a high school student watching the birth, yeesh. I mean, it's rough. It's like a horror movie. It really is.
A buddy of mine, to make the teacher uncomfortable, he brought in snacks like it was a movie. He was like eating popcorn.
That is amazing. That's awesome. Yeah. That's
very
awesome.
funny.
Was that you?
So just before, huh?
Was that you? Were you the one that brought in the popcorn?
No, it wasn't me. No, I didn't go. I was so nervous. I didn't go.
Okay. I don't believe you.
I wasn't ready to see that.
You weren't ready to see the birth?
Then, no, I didn't want to see it.
Why?
I didn't want to be scared, like already freaked out of like accidentally slipping one past the goalie and being a teen dad. That was a fear of mine.
Okay. Did you have like an older woman, like a babysitter?
Did I have a babysitter?
A Spanish teacher? Maybe.
No, I didn't, but stories for another day. There were older women when I was younger. 16 and she was 34.
Whoa. Okay.
I didn't know her name, so we can't arrest her 20 years later.
Yikes.
So the whole scene before the foreskin is pretty funny because they're going back and forth on how to raise the kid, and it's really just Jack versus the other, 5 people. He's like, you gotta be regimented, you gotta talk to them like adults. And I love just Bernie when he's like, oh no, you gotta love him, you gotta kiss him, you gotta hug him, you gotta Fockerize him. You just gotta Fockerize.
Well, Fockerize came in multiple times also. That was another, but yeah. Focker. I still can't get over that joke. Like, I really, like, how does one come up with that? That's like, really.
Are you talking about the baby, like, orgasming?
Oh, no, I'm talking about the Focker. No, just the name Focker.
Oh.
Like, I can't. And honestly, I don't know how many Fockers are out there, but they never heard of the end of it after this. Like, it probably, I wonder if you're a Focker, if you're going to, like, sue the company, the movie studio, and say, you ruined my life, because the jokes, and even, I mean, I'm sure they got made fun of, but now forget about it. It's probably so much going on that they're probably the last remaining Fockers on Earth.
They're gonna change their names. How about the guy I interviewed? I can't think of his last name, which is terrible. The guy that created Step by Step and Urkel, and he told me the story that his buddy's name was Steve Urkel, and they named the character, and then the guy was so pissed off because people used to just call him Crank Call him.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of names out there that unfortunately get ruined when it comes to like a movie or a show, and you're stuck.
Focker. Gold. Rarely when you have a face value joke that's like in your face, like it's the name of the movie, that it really still lands throughout the movie, but it does.
It's
every
just
time they say it.
It's a funny name because it just has so many connotations to it. So it's like it works. It just works. It's just awesome.
It's hard to say right now
I know.
without smirking.
100%.
And they do it so serious, and I think that's what makes it.
That's what makes it
funnier.
100%. The fact that they are very serious about it, and that makes it.
Fockerize it. And how about the fondue and the foreskin? And Greg is getting like pissed off about it, so he grabs the book and then it flies up, lands in the fondue, and then Dustin Hoffman without a beat. Anybody in the mood for Chinese food?
Oh, that's gross. So, but I mean, I kind of feel bad for the parents. I mean, they saved it all this time. First of all, I mean, would it stay for 40 years like that? Like, wouldn't you think it would be like dust?
I would think so.
I mean, you would think it turned to dust or something. No, it looked like it was fresh.
I'm sure. Again, you talked about the way Jewish parents are and the way they are. They probably, as soon as everybody left,
Petrified it?
they used like a little sifter, grabbed it, ran under the water, dried it off.
It looked like it was fresh. It looked like it was just freshly cut. It was just missing a little droplets of blood. That's it. It was freshly cut.
And how about the next scene? So again, they're totally sexually active, the parents, and they're not hiding
whole
it.
movie.
How about the fact that if you walked in on your parents, let alone your parents just fooling around, is freaking out. But if your dad's wearing a bellhop hat from the 1940s and your mom has whipped cream all over her boobs,
And he's got it on his face.
that's some.
And
And he has like, oh yeah, no, yeah.
Well, I mean, listen. I mean, not for nothing though. I do blame Focker for it because his parents did have the hat on the doorknob.
They did. That's
He
true.
knows how his parents are. He knows what his parents were doing, so he shouldn't be surprised when he walks in there. Because he said stop.
Exactly.
You know, so I mean, I'm sure it wasn't the first time he's walked in on them. And
No,
the best part is they don't seem like. Listen, if you walked in on your parents, wouldn't they like try to cover themselves? Like they would be embarrassed. No, Barbara Streisand's sitting out there, her boobs are hanging out. You know, like almost like it was like a normal conversation. Like no shock.
I like that scene too.
And even
Barbara
Dustin Hoffman,
Streisand, baby.
Dustin Hoffman sitting there with the whipped cream on his face, like he's talking to Ben Stiller, like, hey, so what do you want?
I know. And then in the morning, this is where he says, well, he said it earlier. He said, maybe we could play footy football with Jack. And then, dude, this scene, again, another joke. Did I laugh at it back then? When he goes, all right, let's do couples on each other's teams. You know, let's do that. And it's like, and Gay will be the quarterback because Gay goes both ways. I bet he does.
But I did laugh though. I mean, because that was a joke that totally landed years ago. So
yeah, I know.
No, I know,
it's
but
not that it doesn't now. It's just
I know.
all right.
Well, again, that's. But the funny part is though, there's no judgment of whether Ben Stiller's gay or not. So for him to say that, it doesn't make sense. Like he was never questioning his sexuality. You know what I'm saying? Like a joke like that, really, it's only his name it's Gaylord. That's it. So that joke does if it was to Jack Tripper, okay, then that's a different story. If Mr. Furley is saying it to Jack Tripper, it's funny, because that's what he thinks. It doesn't land with Ben Stiller because there's no connotation of him, not being straight.
Yeah, his whole thing is about, are your genes good enough to carry out my family genes? And is your family gonna mess up my future? That's it. Nothing about his sexuality.
That's what I mean. So the joke
is more about lying. Yeah.
So the joke doesn't really land the way it should. I think doesn't make sense. But I love the game though. I love the game is pretty funny. Just Dustin Hoffman warming up. And just I think they purposely made him look smaller. He had this oversized shirt or whatever it was, or no, he had, or the pants pulled up to his it just looked ridiculous. Like he looked so ridiculous.
And it ends up being 1-on-1, and I love that.
Before that, he tackles his wife, and they start making out as they're on. I mean,
so it's like humping her.
They're he really is what do they say, rabbits, having sex, because they're constantly, that's doesn't happen, really. Yeah, it's a nonstop with his wife. He's just all the time he's ready. It's incredible.
He's just he's ready to just
he really
go,
is.
man. He's got one nut and he's ready to.
Which I'm surprised he only has one child, considering the amount of times they probably do it. There should be more than one kid. Unless when maybe it's a fact if you have one testicle, you can only have one child.
Could you imagine that? How many kids do you have? 8? Oh my god, that's a lot of testicles.
Well, I didn't mean it that.
I know that.
That'd be pretty weird. 8 testicles.
Yeah, you get to a certain age, you're like, okay, doctor, how many testicles do I have? It's like 7. It's like, holy shit, that's a lot of kids. But the final scene, the 1-on-1 scene, I do love because obviously Greg wants to help his dad. So he tells him that he's going to do the stop and go and with the pumping. And when the music hits in and he goes to the charcoal grill that happens to be right on the field, perfect placement, he does the eye black. And even though he knows what's coming, he kind of overruns the route. Like, he's way behind him.
Yeah.
And Greg floats one up, and dude, he gets
lit up. He gets, I mean, the way they made it look, like, I mean, he got tossed. Like, it was ridiculous. Like, it's like that famous hit that you see all the time on, like in NFL, they show these, like, all these all-time favorite hits, and the one guy spins around in the air. You ever see that, like, famous hit?
Yeah.
That's what it looked like. He spun around in the air. It was, like, insane. Yeah.
It was a great stunt double because the guy looked like him. Obviously, it couldn't have been. Even if you wanted to do it for insurance purposes, they would never risk it. But the look on the contact and everything, it looked just like him.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. And then Dustin Hoffman's like dancing around, like as like De Niro's like hurting on the floor. He's like, but I love how the fact that De Niro later on has to question Ben Stiller. It's funny how he knew the route that I was doing, or something. He knew the pump fake, or something.
Which was kind of dumb because his whole reasoning was that they ran the play 5 times and he didn't know it at any time. Well, you can finally guess that you're running the same friggin' play. How long were they playing? If they really worked that many times, wouldn't he be ready for it?
Well, if it's in movie terms, they only had 3 plays the whole time.
That is true. That's all we saw. We saw they played for 3 minutes.
Well, the wives quit pretty quick. As soon as Dustin Hoffman started humping his wife, they were done, and then it was just the guys.
Yeah, and then they went to have wine spritzers, and then they were ready to just hang out. And then right away, then the next day, this is when they go shopping. Oh, no, not even go shopping yet. Right after the scene, Roz knows right away that Pam's pregnant.
And you know what's funny? That's a typical mom, like a mom who's, like, would know that. Like, I mean, I remember my mom knowing when my wife is pregnant. I like moms get that sense, like knew. And I think that was great. Like, it shows you how motherly she was. That was pretty cool.
That's a superhero power.
That is. Well, listen, moms have a lot of... They know when you're lying, too.
Oh.
I got caught many times.
I know. It was revealed recently that that's why you had to watch Days of Our Lives for a whole year.
For a whole summer. No, not for a year. It was a summer.
No, you kept watching for a year.
I kept watching for a couple of years.
The summer was the gateway drug, and then you were just... Oh.
Well, it was really just an excuse. I really wanted to watch it all this time, so I blamed it on being in trouble.
Used to get in trouble a lot, not turn your homework in. All right, Jamie, now you got to watch. Oh. Now you're watching Bold and the Beautiful too. Oh, damn! Oh no, Eric's triplet is coming back from the dead. Oh man. Those shows, people watch it.
Let me tell you, they're so stupid. There was a guy on Days of Our Lives called Patch because he wore an eye patch. But when he had his
original,
when he had his eye patch off, no one could recognize him. He was like Clark Kent. Like when he had eye surgery and like no one could recognize him.
That's amazing. I love that. And then Roz even asked how they had sex. And he's like, I'm not telling you. Like, she wanted to know the position.
Oh, she said she likes details. She likes details. I mean, weird. As much as I love the parents, that is a little creepy. Like, that's a little too much information.
What are you going to do with that information when you hear it? Really?
Well, maybe she's
store it for
well, she's a sex therapist. Maybe she's going to learn something that she can bring to the old people. Yeah, this is what I learned from my son today.
And then so Greg, everybody's going to do their little. They're going to go fix the RV bathroom. So the 2 dads are going to hang out, and then the moms and Pam are going to go shopping, and Greg's going to stay home. And I did kind of laugh because it almost seemed like, I don't know if it was that Jack was pretending that he didn't know what they were talking about or just another nurse joke, but he's like, they don't call me Barry Poppins for nothing. And then Jack just stares at him and you're like, is this a nurse dig or does he not know who Mary Poppins is?
Yeah, I don't know. He doesn't seem like a guy that would know who Mary Poppins is.
That is so. Well, I don't know.
But I do.
He wears a boob. He wears a boob.
So what does that do with Mary Poppins?
Well, I don't know.
What, Mary Poppins has boobs? So Mary Poppins has boobs and Jack wears a boob, so he must know Mary Poppins.
Exactly.
Okay. I love how he leaves and he goes to Focker and he goes, "No monkey business." What is monkey business? Like, you hear it all the time. Like, what's considered monkey business?
I don't know, but it's bananas. That's it for this week on. Oh,
all right, but this scene was pretty funny.
Like you said, like, no, oh no, but that scene is funny.
If you've ever had children, you know what it's like when they're screaming like that, and you're trying to teach them. So, I mean, you could definitely relate to it. But the stuff when he gets angry and it was very funny.
And sleep training, like, that is the worst.
That's what I mean.
In the world when you have to, yeah,
it's very difficult.
Somebody else has to. Yeah, and when it's not your kid, I wouldn't do it either.
Yeah,
I would not do.
No,
that.
you would not do it, and it would be extremely annoying. Like, if it's your own kid, like, you want to cry. If it's someone else's, you're like, shut that kid up.
Let's just talk about this whole scene, and then we'll talk about like what the other people are doing. But how about when he goes, "Let's find some of Jack's approved toys," because Greg loses it very quick. Like, he goes from like 0 to 60.
Oh yeah.
And in the approved toys, an abacus, an Einstein puppet, which in a few minutes Moses starts humping on the ground.
How do you train a dog to do that?
Well, like Owner. They watch the Owner.
So you're saying that Jack humps puppets?
No, that's not Jack's dog. That's
Dustin Hoffman?
That's
Jack's.
That's their dog.
Oh no,
he
it's
has
their dog,
Mr. Jinx.
But it's not his toy.
It's not his toy.
Oh, so you're saying the dog watches Dustin Hoffman hump everybody, so that's what the dog learned.
Yes.
Okay, I got it. Okay.
And then he just like is freaking out. Somehow the baby is like, first of all, when the baby gets out, the latch opens up and he's like gone. Greg can't find him throughout the house. And then the kid finds glue and is just putting the glue on the ground.
How fast is the kid moving that Greg can't find him? And he's not going to hear the kid? Like, I almost feel like, is the kid deaf? Because he obviously knows sign languages. He teaches him sign language, but he's like very quiet, the kid.
That's true.
And
he really doesn't say anything throughout the movie.
Nothing, except for when he curses. You know, that's the only thing.
Yeah.
But, I mean, like, and the fact that, how does he not hear a kid? Like, the kid would talk or cry or Google, gaga, like, nothing. Nothing. And just plays
he was
with...
just putting his hands in glue.
And how'd the kid open the glue?
Twist top.
Okay, first of all, when you twist it, it just opens the top of it. It doesn't pour out like that. If you remember the old Elmer's glue. Although this is Jack's baby, so, you know, he probably has tools.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. He knows everything. But no, just the fact that his first go-to is to turn it upside down, squirt it on. It's all over his hands. And then Roz tells Greg to put a little rum in the bottle and it worked. The baby just has the whole bottle. And within seconds, the timing of them getting home and just seeing this baby watching. Oh, dude, what was the baby watching?
Scarface.
Yes.
Well, and don't forget, Greg already cursed at this point, right?
He did, yeah.
So,
asshole, yeah.
So what? First of all, why does the kid say it the way he says it?
Ass.
Ooh. It's like kind of weird how he says it, right? It doesn't make sense like why he would say it the way he says it, unless maybe they cut it so it's like first he says S and then they have to like do this way he doesn't curse.
Oh, maybe, I don't know. I'm sure it counted because they basically said that it was like the record for curses by a minor for DreamWorks, but
I don't know.
But why wouldn't they have like Goodfellas on or something like that? Like, just to have, that'd be a funny reference. They already did the Tom Collins joke.
So you're saying that seeing De Niro on screen would...
No, put Pesci on screen. Why do we have to see Pacino? That
would be a little weird. I mean, that's like, what movie was it? Last Action Hero with Rambo? Was it when... Wasn't it one of those?
No, it was Stallone as the Terminator.
Okay, all right. All right. What movie was that?
That was in Last Action Hero.
Oh,
in
it was
the video
okay.
store.
Okay.
Stallone was Terminator Judgment Day.
Okay.
I love all those movies.
Wow.
That's an underrated movie.
Ugh.
Yeah. No. Don't say asshole. Tadpole. Jack's mole. Jack has a big mean mole.
I can't believe they did that. That was pretty funny. That was
really funny.
Jack's mole.
And then in the other scenes, you have Jack and Bernie are getting the RV fixed, and it's Jorge, Isabel's son, who looks eerily similar to Greg. Bushy eyebrows.
Very, very similar. But back to Jack's mole. Do you think that was totally ad-libbed?
Maybe. I don't know.
But then, do you think like De Niro, like Offset, was like, "Listen to me, you say something like that ever again, like De Niro like threatened him afterwards."
I'll break your fucking kneecap.
I've had this my whole life. No one talks about this.
I know. Or maybe he just had to riff it, and then once they watched it on the dailies, maybe De Niro was like, "Okay, that's funny."
Because
I'm sure they did a ton of takes.
100%, and that seems like something that would be a total ad lib. Like it just seems very funny.
Yeah. And then we kind of talked about it when he comes home. Oh well, before we get to the fully them coming home, again, this is where Jack is so creepy in this movie. The fact that he's staring at him, thinking about his age, thinking about when Ben Stiller could have sex with him. Which, again, if you do the math, Ben Stiller, didn't they say he lost his virginity at 19? So Ben Stiller in this movie is supposed to be like 34, 35, which I guess kind of tracks. It's not really his age.
Right.
Close.
No, I mean,
he's definitely a lot.
But so he
older
was
than
15 at the time, right? No, or how old is he at the time?
No, Jorge's 15.
Right. Okay.
He lost. Greg lost Virginia at 19.
Okay.
They call him a late bloomer.
Yeah.
Nice by the parents.
But I mean,
to mention that.
But it was a very funny joke. But then why did he look so familiar? Like they really they should have had a picture of the father somehow that looked like Ben Stiller, like somewhere. Like
they did later.
They showed a picture of the father.
Oh yeah, the baseball player, Rusty.
Oh yes, okay, duh, okay. All right, you're right.
It is him, yeah.
Okay.
No, it's cool. Yeah, but no, Jack again. How creepy! He pulls out a pen camera, snaps. Do you mind if I take a photo?
How weird!
Why would he do that? Why?
Okay, Jack gets creepy with this kid. I mean, he invites him to a party. So
no, exactly. I'm saying, but why is Jorge letting this happen? He's got to know this guy might be grooming me for something.
Yeah, it was a little weird. I mean, it was very weird. Yeah. And that pen, I thought it looked like one of the things they had in Men in Black when they erased their memory.
It did, yeah.
I thought he was I didn't realize it was a camera at first. I thought he was gonna shoot him with something. I didn't it didn't look like a camera at all.
Yeah, and the fact that the photos were perfect.
Yeah.
Well, I know he's in the CIA and everything, but then when they get home, we have the bottle, the Scarface. Mr. Jinx is getting humped by Moses. As soon as
he wasn't fighting it though. Do you think it's possible though?
For other animals to have sex with each other?
Yeah, well, a dog. I mean, that's what happened at the Island of Dr. Moreau, right?
Never saw it.
You never saw that movie with Brando? Wow.
No.
You should see it.
Different animals have sex with each other?
No, but the humans were interspecies. They were human animals. Like they were humans. He was doing tests.
Whoa.
I can't believe you've never seen it. With Val Kilmer? You got to see it.
No, you got to check it out.
Yeah. But I mean, do you think a cat and a dog, if they did it the right way, they would have a cat dog?
Is there a wrong way, Jamie?
Well, I'm not an animal. But if the
what would happen? I don't know.
How come they never tried it?
I don't know, but do you remember when you were a kid? Did you watch the Wuzzles, the cartoon? When that was that whole show. It was two different animals together. It was like a lion and a bumblebee. It was a cartoon. It's like a Disney show, but
no.
That's a weird combo, right? If you had a flying lion or
A flying lion.
yeah.
Okay.
Or what would you prefer? Just a regular lion with a bee stinger?
That would be. Listen, he could kill you in both ends.
That's great. So then Jack is he's getting it from all sides at this point. And then another funny scene, like whenever I always love scenes when there's one thing happening and people are having a conversation and then somebody else is listening and thinking it's about what they think, but it's not the same thing. But when the Fockers are talking about the new baby, because how about when he comes in with the champagne? Bernie, a little birdie told me that I'm gonna be
He is so
grandpa.
nondiscreet about anything. You know, it's so funny. That's 100%. And you can see him doing that. Like, that's why he said, Dad can't keep a secret. And he comes in like with a party when he finds out. Like, he couldn't hold. Yeah.
How about later at the party in front of 1 million people, he's miming a pregnant belly across the party.
Yeah, but no,
That's
in his defense, though, the mom was there. Both moms were there, too. They all knew. So, you know.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Oh, that
They could have
party.
stopped them. They really could have put a stop to that. Well, yeah, they're talking about the new baby, and Jack comes up to eavesdrop, even though he has a hurt back still, and he's listening, and he's thinking they're talking about Jorge. So he hears him says, "I don't know. I feel like I just have to be honest and tell him, but I want to wait till after the wedding." So there's like all this going on, and then
you know, but in Jack's defense, he did go up there to say sorry.
no, he didn't. He used that as a fake thing
No,
afterwards.
he was going to say sorry. You don't think he was going to say sorry? You think he...
No, but you know what he had to do because he wasn't really going to say sorry and he got caught. Then he had to get tortured by Roz, and the way she was giving a massage for a real like hippy dippy, and the way she lives her lifestyle. And Bernie, she was throwing her knee into his back like she wanted to kill him.
There were points though where he was smiling, that he was like every time she reached into his belly, he kept getting a little excited.
Wait, we have to talk about this
Because she makes a comment that she touched something.
No, okay, that's what
Okay.
I have here. She says, "Ooh, I hit some driftwood."
Yes.
So, but at the same time, she does this. So it couldn't have been a fart joke. That was a dick joke.
That was
it has to be
100%. It
right?
was. It was not a fart joke.
Because he made a face like, "I'm sorry," like awkward. So I'm like, "That's a boner joke."
Yeah, 100% it was. Fart joke. Why would driftwood be a fart?
I'm not saying it was, but she did the.
Well,
the signal of,
maybe she had to like calm herself down. So that was she was fanning herself. I mean, you know, so
Barbara, I gotta fan myself. Thinking about the whipped cream boobs and her grabbing driftwood.
And is that like a compliment? Driftwood? Like it sounds like it's like. First of all, it sounds like it's like crooked. Like it's like, you know, like drifting away. like I don't know. Like
It sounds like somebody at like
it's been sitting.
like an
It's been sitting
orgy
out there
that
for a while.
There's no lights on at an orgy, and you have to walk around just feeling around because driftwood just randomly shows up on the beach. So she's like feeling around, and she just, oops, it's
Wait,
my hand.
you go from an orgy to this? That was a huge reach around.
I think you just complimented Mr. De Niro. Bobby.
They don't call him Bobby for nothing. I don't know what that makes.
So
That
then-
makes no sense.
I liked it. Go with it. So I love when Greg comes in and he like sees it through the window. He stops it. And she was like, "Oh, just helping him out. I wanted to fix his back." And he looks at her and he goes, "You were riding him like Seabiscuit."
So you got to assume that the Fockers are swingers.
Oh, 100%.
Okay. And I want to say that I think that Dina was all in, ready to go. I think
She hasn't been touched. Remember
I know.
when they're talking She says, "Oh, we do it on our anniversary."
Well, no,
she has special occasions.
Yeah, on anniversary, and then she paused. No, I think that Barbara Streisand totally groomed her, and they were ready to swing. If De Niro was, had his head right, they would have been swinging.
At the end of the movie, that could have happened because she offered that advice, and maybe
that is true.
Led to something.
Well, he got excited at the end. He became like a little kid at the end. De Niro.
He was totally he changed. But now we have to talk about where he gets crazy. Like, obviously, taking a picture of Jorge was super crazy, but after this, when he fixes his own back walking and he cracks his back and he goes into the RV.
Wait, the way he does it though, like he's in so much pain, he's crunched over, he literally cracks his back and then walks completely like normal, like as a tough guy. Like he just it's almost like Mel Gibson with his shoulder, like when he swings it in Lethal Weapon, like he pops it and he cracked his back and like nothing happened. He just ready to go back. Like, does that happen? Like your back is that out of whack that just a little crack and you're good to go?
I don't know about a back. Maybe like shoulder out of place,
right?
Finger out of place.
Correct. Not a back.
But a back is like that's like vertebrae and discs. That's like a serious thing.
Yeah, but this is when he goes pure like CIA psycho.
Not for nothing. When the fact that he's retired and he sets up. I know he has a lot of money, obviously, because the Winnebago's a lot of money. How much more money? It would almost be double the price of the Winnebago to add a secret lair. That's way too big for that Winnebago.
How do you add a secret lair? Like who adds it? Like, is there a company out there that adds secret lairs? Like, how do you?
Maybe he has like a James Bond queue, like in James Bond, he has a guy that he can call. But it's insane.
Okay,
that whole thing.
I would assume that would also take a very long time to make. That's not like something like so. Like I want to know, where do you get something like that, because that RV is very new. So he must have a guy.
Yeah, no,
he has a guy.
And there was a million blinking lights in there. If you notice, they always have like those blinking lights that they're not even buttons to touch, but everything was.
He had
blinking.
so many switches and buttons in that thing. Yeah, it looked like a cockpit of an airplane. Like it had like all these different.
yeah.
And then the TV comes down, the screen.
And I love that he's on the phone with Foxtrot, and he's Santa. His call name's Santa. I love that he goes, I need a full DNA write-up on one Jorge Villalobos and Greg Focker. And he goes, all right, that'll take a week. And the guy goes, negative, I need a 12-hour turnaround. And the guy goes, okay, Santa, out.
So,
I'm like, what?
So how much pull as a retired guy does he have? Like, is he really retired? See, he might not be retired.
Know, but he has a 6.5 day poll that he can change. The guy says it's going to take a week. He goes 12 hours.
He's pretty high up. And
it's less than that if you think about it, because there was so much that happened in that morning that he says, because that night is the party. He goes, I need you to meet me at this thing. I'll be there. And that's not 12 hours.
No, it was like 5 hours.
Yeah. Oh, crap. And then how about when Greg, because he's told to go to the secret lair to meet with Jack. I love that he calls Bernie and he goes, Jacko. Like, where are you calling from? And he's like, I'm in the RV. Can you have Greg come out here in precisely 3 minutes? And he goes, all right. And he goes, hey, Greg, I think I think he says Jacko's acting more like a wacko right now. But did you notice that when they're walking outside, you see Dina and Barbara Streisand having a one-on-one, and she's using hand puppets to initiate sex?
But does that really work? Like, if you're struggling with your spouse because they're not paying attention to you, do hand puppets work? What? I mean, that seems like a little extreme.
That seems.
I mean, because it wasn't even conversation. She was basically having the hand puppets have sex.
Yeah,
it's so stupid.
Maybe Roz gets her rocks off on that. How do you like to be touched by Jack? And she's taking mental notes for later after they groom him for swinging.
Well, considering that, so the hand puppets had sex while Dina was reenacting it, plus it had sex with the dog. So really, the hand puppets have the most action than anyone in the movie.
They'll have to go on Maury Povich if they get pregnant. Oh my gosh. So then we get Greg. So Greg has to go out to see Jack. Jack tries to get him to admit to being Jorge's dad without really asking him. And then he's able to get a DNA sample from him, puts it into a lab. And then as soon as Greg leaves, when it's like, that was kind of weird. Like you see him walk out, he calls Jorge.
How did he have his number?
Like
Where did he get his number from?
Yellow pages, white pages. That had to be around then, right?
So he knew his last name too? He happened to know his last name?
Well, he did because he called him Villalobos when he called Foxtrot 1.
Yeah, how did he know his last name?
It. Isabel? Maybe they said Isabel's last name?
So he somehow figure out his name, knows his phone number, and Jorge has no problem. Like, yeah, sure, I'll go. Like, no, like,
Yeah.
like, how bizarre is that? Well, listen, Jorge's father, he never met his father. He's lonely. He sees Jack as a father figure, maybe. Maybe he just attaches himself to Andyman.
That is true. Maybe, yeah. This guy's looking out for me. He cares for me.
He's inviting me. He probably
That could
doesn't go
be
to any
true.
parties. His mom is constantly out drinking.
Banging. So
So this poor kid is, you know what, gets invited to his first party. I mean, enough for nothing. Look at the way he looks like. He looks like a caveman.
Yeah. He does. And then at the party, you see like all a bunch of Fockers, and like we talked about with the scene when what's his name, Bernie's like miming the pregnancy thing, so she knows that the whole family pretty much knows. And then when Jack brings Greg over to meet Jorge, what a weird scene, because the whole time he has his hand on his shoulder while he's talking, like, hey, do you see each other? Does he look like a young Jewish Marlon Brando to you? And it's like,
and he doesn't really explain what he's trying to do, and then he leaves him there. So like, what are they supposed to do? Like, it was just weird. It was just didn't make sense. I was hoping for more Fockers, like, you know, like to see like a couple like crazy uncles or something. Just like it really, you didn't see any other family members. I mean, you saw a bunch of people there, but like, I expected like the whole point is that you have a bunch of Fockers in one place. Like I'm
sure there's a deleted scenes. I'm sure there was, because you know the thing with Stiller, he has a lot of those buddies. I was hoping for that too. Like even like his movies, like I really enjoyed this movie, but I like his movies where he has buddies, because I think sometimes his buddies, like Rob Corddry in The Heartbreak Kid, I think their relationship's really funny. But no, you're right. That'd have been a great moment to have. Anyway,
goofy.
Jack Black, he was good buddies with Jack Black.
Being goofy,
Jack Black
or
could have been a Focker.
100%. Like I just think it would have been funny, just like something, because the whole point was Jack didn't want to go there dealing with all the Fockers in one room, and there was like nothing that came out of that. Like it was like a normal party
at all.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I did have to ask you about, so obviously we're not in the CIA, right? You're not in the CIA?
Well, if I was, I can't tell you.
That's true. That's true. How about the fact that Jack goes into the bathroom, he like puts the vial into the Tom Collins, and then he walks out, and there's a guy in a waiter uniform with, well, I guess it's just a Hawaiian shirt for the restaurant. And then he has the waiter tray, and he says, like, with fresh lemons, squeezed lemons. And that was, like, the code. They switch. What about the other people working there? Wouldn't they be like, hey, Tommy, get a load of that fucking guy.
Who is
he?
he?
Doesn't work here. Right? Do they do that? Like, CIA, can't they just meet in the parking lot?
Well,
why do they have to do it right in front
if
of
you
people?
went through the kitchen, you would see like three guys tied up in the corner. And
Oh, wow.
That's how the CIA does it. You know, not that I know firsthand.
Oh.
I'm just saying.
Wow. Very revealing.
It would be great if he gave it to the wrong person, like he gave it to like a regular waiter.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the Fockers is drinking it, and he's like, he has the thing. He's like, hey, I want a prize.
See? A Focker. We need more Fockers.
We need more Fockers. Besides Bernie, my other favorite scenes in this movie are the truth serum. So this whole part, when you get Greg in the bathroom and Jack like confronts him about Jorge, and then he looks in the mirror and he sees Jack holding like a needle behind him. And the fact that Greg, who's a nurse, sees that, and no matter what, even if you're a nurse or not, you think it's kind of weird. The fact that he gets him with the old, hey, is that some tartar sauce on your shirt?
And he's assuming that he had tartar sauce. What if he didn't have any? Like,
I was thinking that too.
I'm going to guess that he didn't. He probably didn't have any tartar sauce. So the fact that he's looking is ridiculous, and the fact that he knows. Listen, at this point he knows Jack. He knows Jack's always up to something, and the fact that he sees something behind his back, he's holding it behind his back, and he's still going to fall for something. Like you know what? Focker should have been smarter than that.
Yeah,
should have.
No,
it would have been funny if Jack got stuck with the truth serum, and then we have a whole different speech.
Yeah, he goes to do it, and somebody like opens a door. A Focker opens one of the bathroom doors, hits him. The thing goes into his own neck.
Yep.
That would be good.
See. I'm telling you, we needed more Fockers. That would have that whole scene would have been good. More Fockers. Can never have enough Fockers.
I just love. I just love his first lines of the truth serums. He says to his wife, "Hey, preggers." Yep. And then right after that, he looks at the little kid and he says, "Ooh, look at you in that little red outfit. You look like a little devil baby. Put you on a can of ham."
Well, okay, so I have a question about truth serum. I mean, I've never had it. I'm assuming you haven't. But one, does it make you like drunk? Because he's acting very drunk. And two, if it is a truth serum, does he always like call his wife preggers? Like, so like everything out of his mouth right now should be like liar, liar. Like everything should be the truth right now. Right? Like that's okay. I don't know. I can't imagine it acting drunk. Like I don't know. Like first of all, I don't even know if
it's almost like he's drugged. He is drunk. Well, he is drugged. But he's like slurring a little bit.
But like seriously, how does a truth serum work? Like I can't fathom that if someone gives me that truth serum, that all of a sudden I just start telling the truth. Like it's just so bizarre. Like I wonder if is there really a truth serum out there?
I don't see how it's possible, but there's probably so many things we don't know about that they can just.
I'll tell you right now, I would not want anyone that I know have a truth serum because I don't want to know what they really think about me.
Whoa. And his speech is so great when he has to go up for his speech, and I love when he was talking about his beautiful wife and he loves her, and people always say, look at your future mother-in-law to see what your wife is going to look like when she gets older. And I love when he goes, Dina, Bobina, Banana, Fana, Fomina. Well, and then he even says, and when it comes to Dina, I'm a looking and I'm a
like it. Well, he also doesn't he talk about his wife's boobs? That's the first thing he says, like in front of everybody.
Yeah.
I'm a looking and I'm a liking. That was awesome.
And I think he says a few more things. Maybe he talks about Jack. But when he gets Jorge to come up and he looks at him and he goes, and then I had this kid that I didn't know about for 15. Oh, no, he didn't even say that I didn't know about. He goes, that I've been hiding for 15 years. And then he goes, come here. Yo soy a papi. When he starts talking in Spanish to him.
How awkward was that, though? I mean, this poor kid. By the way, is Dina Gwyneth Paltrow's mom in real life? I think.
Yeah, right?
Okay,
is that true?
Okay. I don't know what made me think of that. I just wanted to confirm it.
Yeah, first, when I was watching the movie, I thought she was like Terry Polo's mom in real life.
Right, that's what I thought. But then I vaguely remember that it's Gwyneth Paltrow, but who knows? All right, anyway.
Yeah.
All right. I just wanted to name drop.
And his last line. What, like, you know her? You want to name drop?
Listen, in the CIA, I know a lot about everybody.
Oh, well, nope. You just admitted it, man.
No, okay.
Hey, Jack, Pam's pregnant. Fuck her out. And then he just like falls back.
Fuck her out was classic. Just the way he did it. It was his mic drop.
And also, randomly before this, Bernie falls through a table. So that's like the second time he just fell really on his own. I think it's when he was dancing with Roz on the dance floor. He runs to do like some move, flies over.
Well, he was dancing before that. He was dancing. I mean, and he was doing well. I mean, it was Dustin Hoffman dancing. It was pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm starting to think that Bernie's an alcoholic.
Oh, he's on something. Because how about the next morning, Greg wakes up in bed with his parents with a note on his chest, circle of trust.
Okay, so how does that happen? So Greg passes out. See, again, it's the Jewish parents that are like overbearing on their children. They saw him pass out. They were worried, so they put him in bed with. They snuck him in bed, and they put pajamas on him. Like, did
they were all pretty hammered.
But do you think, like, I mean, they were drunk too.
Yeah.
Just saying. Did it get weird?
Accidents happen. I thought you were the waiter. I thought you were the Tom Collins CIA waiter. So then Jack's trying to leave. Bernie's laying under the tire, talking about this is how we did things in the 60s. And he's just laying there, and he finally gets Jack to get out of the car.
You know, he's like literally under the tire. Like, I mean, I would think when they're protesting, they're like in front of the bus or the car. No, he's literally like, if the tire moves an inch, he gets crushed.
Yeah. And this scene, man, is so insane because we already know how crazy he is. But when Dina admits, because when he's saying muskrat, Dina, muskrat, and she's like, no muskrat.
But see, okay, so, you know, we talked about Dina being very passive and very quiet, but it seems that, and a few times it happens in both movies, when she puts her foot down, Jack listens. So it makes me think, why doesn't she do it more often? Like, so she might be partly to blame why Jack's the way he is, because she doesn't say anything. Because he listens to her every time she gets a little upset.
Yeah, she should probably open her mouth more. Yeah. But she threw him under the... this wasn't a little thing he's eavesdropping.
They made him feel like crap. I mean, they all attacked him. I mean, God, like, I don't know if that was the right place, considering he was getting attacked by everybody. You'd think his wife would stand up a little bit, but no, she was just as bad as they were.
It was pretty insane what he did. The whole scene, I have the clip, but I can add it later. But the fact that she goes, you truth serum Greg. And then she goes, this is exactly like what you did to my junior prom date.
So a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
That's sick.
I'm sensing a pattern here when it comes to him.
I said
16-year-old
and he has a soundproof door in the RV. I said he could easily kill someone no one can hear. Just saying, there might be more to him. He might be like a Dexter.
Dexter, yeah, or like Joe from You.
Well, yeah, I can see that.
Then we get a little fight. Bernie's gonna fight Jack Focker style.
What is Focker style?
He takes his sandals off.
What is Focker style?
Well, I guess it's sort of like his capoeira because he takes his sandals off.
Yeah, but
and he starts like.
But didn't
dancing.
his wife or someone say he's only been doing it for a couple of weeks?
yeah, he did.
And I mean, De Niro doesn't seem phased at all and he pretty much dodges everything. Like the one punch he does. Like he just literally was not like, you know. I think De Niro could have killed him.
Well, he said that. He goes, just so you know, as soon as I engage, I don't stop until the target is destroyed or something like crazy. Well, he is crazy.
He is, but Dustin Hoffman's pretty crazy too.
Yeah. But you see Jack get devastated here.
Oh.
Because right after the scene, he's devastated.
He's devastated, and he kidnaps his grandson.
And then we get him leaving, and so Jack's on the road with little Jack, and Greg's like, I got to go after him. I have to stop him from leaving the island, so I need him to be here. And so then they go together. And how about, again, Bernie, a nice dad. He wants to help out. He goes, I got to come with you. I know this island like the back of my hand. And he goes, man, this map isn't making any sense. And the first joke in your head, right? You think, oh, the map's upside down joke. And he goes, well, Dad, that's a map of Detroit.
That was pretty funny.
Oh, God. And then they both get arrested, which
Well, first of all, where are they? I thought they were in Florida.
Florida, somewhere in Florida, yeah.
Well, they're on an island, though. Right?
Yeah, I guess it's called an island. I guess they are an island. I guess that's true. Somewhere.
Are there islands off of Florida that's considered Florida? I don't think so.
Well, there's Florida Keys, so maybe it's down there.
Maybe
somewhere.
one of the Keys. All right.
Little island.
All right.
Coconut Grove, I think it's called. But no, what are you going to mention? The cop that he's a full redneck from Arkansas?
Honestly, I wrote that down. I'm like, he does not fit the island profile.
No.
At all.
You get in that car. I told you, get back in that vehicle. And then Dustin Hoffman is just trying to talk to him. He gets cuffed. Greg gets cuffed. And, gosh.
Well, they get cuffed and tased.
Well, not even getting tased. He's getting tased while Dustin Hoffman has a gun pointed to his face. The guy's just ready to shoot both of them. And I think that's the coolest thing about it, because you expect, because Jack, the CIA guy that knows everything, when he turns around because he gets the phone call that it's Rusty Bridges is the baseball player.
Do you think that an RV can turn around like that without flipping over?
No.
It does like a donut. That is no way that's going to happen. And why did he have to do it that hard? I mean, once he realized, why couldn't he just like slowly turn around? Like what was like why did he have to speed and do it?
Well, I think his little Jack was his moral compass, because he gave him a little look.
He did, but what was?
And then that made him change.
Okay, so he can't slowly. I mean, he does have a baby aboard, so I mean that easily could have crashed. I mean, why did he have to like spin out? Like, what was the rush?
And let's not forget the baby. Well, exactly, but the baby was in the front seat, which is a no-no.
That is true.
That's illegal.
Was there a seatbelt on?
He's in the CIA.
I don't even think there's a seatbelt on him. He had his.
No, he was just in a car seat.
Yeah. Okay.
Front facing, you fly through that windshield, and it's probably bulletproof glass, shatterproof, so that baby will just turn into like an egg.
Oh, again, so the fact that it's the RV spinning out, the kid's in the seat, he would have went flying.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like I was mentioning, like when he shows up, you're thinking, oh, CIA, he's going to talk his way out of it. That Arkansas guy, he was like, no nonsense.
No
he looks
nonsense.
at it, he goes, it says here retired. And then he like gives him some lip, and dude, he friggin' stun guns him like in seconds. And he starts shaking and falls to the ground.
No, this not what I expected. You figured he's gonna throw the card out there. All right, everything. I'll take care of everything, like he did with the first movie. With the bomb threat.
Yeah.
And nope. So this jail scene was pretty funny.
Before the jail scene, how about when they're searching through the car and the guy comes out and goes, "Hey, I found a rubber boobie."
What do you think they're thinking when they find that? Because they don't think it's for feeding. So what do you think? Like they think that that's something he wears? Like
yes. And where are they taking this kid? Child services? Because this kid's got to be going somewhere, like within seconds. They don't usually like say like, oh, let me get somebody else to pick up. They have a guy that has a young kid, even though it's his grandkid, with a boobie in the car.
A boobie.
That's pretty crazy. And what if they hit a button? What if they're searching that? They hit a button. Hey, what's this do? They open up the secret lair. That's going to be illegal. What he has? There's some illegal
I would
stuff
think
in there.
so. But wouldn't they be questioning why there's only one boobie? Because there is only one boobie in that thing.
Yeah. There is.
What is this freak doing with this one boobie?
Or he has to explain it away. Oh no, it's actually just that's probably even worse. Maybe if somebody finds your rubber boobie, that's probably better than you having to explain
that I wear it because I pretend that I'm
breast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god. No, but the jail scene was good because I guess you had like the most drama like throughout the whole movie, and like serious acting, because you have some serious acting.
Do,
like Ben Stiller.
But when they start talking about the circle of trust, and Bernie goes, "What circle am I in?" They go, "You're not in the circle."
Yeah, and then Greg says, both of you
Yeah.
aren't in my circle of trust, and you have to earn your way back into
Just
it.
how serious, when they start talking about circles of trust and just how serious Greg is and just the way, it's just so funny. It's it's just the stupidest thing, but the most important thing.
But I did like the judge is going to get them out. It's the Larry David's dad from Curb. And
But you think it's because
Roz's,
Bernie being a big-time lawyer, and that's not why they got out.
It's not because it's because of Roz.
Roz is like the real hero of this movie.
She really is. She is.
She
She saves
I was
Jack's
gonna say she
marriage.
saves the marriage. She definitely knew about the baby and helped, with that. She's got them out of prison. Like she's a big time dealer.
Yeah, she's the best.
She is.
Roz, baby. Now, but I do like when Cedric Yarborough, who like right after this is on Reno 911, within probably around the same time Reno 911 got picked up and was on Comedy Central, but Ben's like, we're going to stay in here a little bit longer. And they close the door. All right, we're going to have the wedding next week. And it's like, next week. And then he's having all these demands. And
He has balls.
you want
all
to
of a
be in my
sudden.
grandkid's life? Oh, dude, yes.
Yeah. But
And
see,
then
he
they decide-
he had these same balls at the end of the first movie. Like he got him after Jack calmed down and what happened between that movie and this movie where he kind of reversed and went back to the beginning of being scared of Jack again. He kind of squashed that at the end of the first movie. Remember he was doing kung fu.
No,
he was doing kung fu.
Obviously, yeah, he should have probably built on that.
Yeah.
But then you wouldn't have this movie. You
Well-
could have a sequel with him being the strong character.
Listen, that could have been funny. Him and Jack battling now
Ugh.
a little bit more. An even kill.
I forget the third movie, but maybe they do.
I
that.
don't remember
know.
the third one at all. I'm not in a rush to see it.
I remember Jessica Alba being a love interest sort of Ben Stiller in the movie.
I couldn't tell you. I just know it's Little
Something
Fockers.
like that. Little Fockers.
Is Dustin Hoffman in the third one? No.
Oh, I think they are both in it. Maybe not as much as, but I think they are both in it. They sort of have to be, So, how about if you wanted to move the wedding up and your father-in-law said, okay, fine, but I have the officiant of your wedding and it's your soon-to-be wife's ex?
I don't know. I feel like it was so unneeded to do. It was just, again, to use the first movie, but it just didn't make sense. Honestly, I didn't think it was that funny. I don't think it was funny. What I thought was funny was him playing the pan flute perfectly. That was the Zelda thing, right? It's called a pan flute?
Yep. Yeah.
How do you know?
It was in a South Park episode.
All right. Yes, that was the funny part because anyone playing that stupid instrument would have been funny, but having him.
Okay, we just lost all of our pan flute listeners.
Have you ever seen a pan flute?
I've never seen one in person, only in cartoon form and this movie. That's it.
I still can't believe
That's
you know
the
what
only
a pan
time
flute
I've
is.
ever seen it.
But yeah, I did having Owen Wilson there just didn't make sense. It was I get what they were trying to go for. I think it fell flat. I think it was stupid.
Yeah, I don't think it was funny. It made me feel awkward when he was reading the vows and he was just staring right at Pam and
it just didn't make sense. It just didn't fit.
Yeah.
I feel like it was forced. It was a forced scene that wasn't necessary.
Yeah.
Oh.
And this is it.
Yeah.
Wedding's happening. And I was just envisioning myself when Jack wouldn't give up his own daughter. When he was tight grip on her.
I did the same thing. I'm thinking, I'm flash forwarding, and I'm like, you know what? I can see myself doing the same thing. So
Yeah.
I get that. That's cool.
No.
It's one thing it's something so small, but at the party when Bernie was breakdancing, and the whole crowd was going, "Go Focker, go Focker, go!" The whole. It was his version of breakdancing. I thought it was pretty funny.
You just wanted to get a few more Fockers.
I have to. This is it. This is the end of the movie. I want to be Fockered out.
But no, that's pretty much the end of the movie. You have that's it.
Yeah.
Pretty much you have what we talked about before. Roz gave advice to Jack.
You have the and then the end credit scene. which was pretty funny.
Yeah, and you have also Moses and Mr. Jinx are eating out of the same cake
See?
together. So they're buddies.
Do you think they I think they're more than buddies. I mean, So I wonder if that would be funny if there was a cat dog.
Cat Dog? Well, there's a cartoon on Nickelodeon
What, cat?
for a long time called Cat Dog. But they were half and half. They were connected at the hip. One side was a dog, one side was a cat.
So they were butt to butt?
But
So how did they go to the bathroom?
it's true. It was like Human Centipede, but in
in reverse.
form.
It was Human Centipede in reverse.
In reverse, yeah.
So they had to go to the bathroom.
I don't know.
They were born that way?
I don't remember the origin story of the show.
Wait, so there's literally a cartoon with a dog facing one way and a cat facing another way?
Called Cat Dog.
Are the feet facing the same way as the heads?
Yeah, they're like.
Okay, so then how would they walk
cut
anywhere?
at the torso. Well, they have to decide who's going to go the right
But
way.
2 feet would be walking backwards at all times.
Well, you can walk backwards.
Okay. That seems very weird. It seems very weird for a kid's show.
Yeah, very
Okay.
So you're talking about the end credit scene, and I thought that was really funny.
It was.
Like, I loved each person going in.
Yep.
And kind of like terrorizing the kid, giving him cake, as much cake as he wants. Bernie telling little Jack to be a protester, and then Jack's full of shit. He's going.
I was dying when he did that.
That was great.
Well, why is he letting little Jack watch this? Because it's all that's going to do is reinforce the bad behavior.
Exactly. It'll be the second time that he saw all of this.
And the kid's doing a every single time now with Bernie. That was awesome.
Yeah. But Greg's was good too. I loved his when he the whole thing he did. Yeah, we're actually faking the pregnancy just so we can get married earlier. And little Jack, never tell Big Jack about that I was actually getting high when you let yourself out and you got the bottle. And I'm like, whoa. And then he's like, I know you're there. But he was wearing the outfit. Oh, was that on the wedding night?
It was the wedding. But so you're telling me they left the kid in that room while they had a house full of people and the kid was alone the entire time? Because think about how much time in between each person going in there, between the mom, the dad, and Focker. That's a long time. The kid was up the whole time. So he wasn't sleeping at all. So, that's bad parenting.
It was a house full of trusting Fockers.
And Jack is full of shit.
And Jack is full of shit. Well, that was Meet the Fockers. I got to go to my co-host, Jamie. Would you recommend somebody watch this movie?
You have to. I mean, if you're a fan of the first one, you have to watch the second one. It definitely, you know what? I think if you watch it the first time, if you've never seen it before and you've seen the first one, you're definitely going to like it maybe better. But I agree with you. Watching it 20 years later or whatever, it's not as funny as I thought. Had funny scenes, but there was a lot of just corniness to it that kind of didn't make it as funny as I thought. Because I was looking forward to watching it. But it still had a lot of funny scenes to watch, so it's definitely worth watching.
Yeah, I agree. The jokes that I had the issues with, which again, it's not even that big of a deal. It's just that I was like, man, they went to that well so much. But again, Bernie and Roz, every line they had were so funny. And I think us doing this and the way that we discuss these movies, I think it's so much fun because seeing that movie back in 2004, all those times I used to watch it, you look at Jack as this funny character. You look at him in this different lens. You're like, God, this guy's a friggin' psycho. You knew, obviously watching it, hey, this guy's a little over the top, but it's not even close what he does in this movie.
But again, but I also think on the side of it also is they dumbed him down. They clowned him down. It's almost I compare it to Stifler. In the first movie, in the second movie, he's kind of he's a jerk, but he's the cool guy. He's friends with everybody. By the last movie, they all make fun of him. He's no longer Stifler. He's the loser of the group. And they changed his whole persona. And same thing with Jack. I feel again, Jack's not going to wear this booby one booby thing, and like it became a little too corny on some of the stuff, and took away the fear. I feel like it took away the fear of Jack a little bit.
Yeah, well, that's sequels. You know, something's got to change. Somebody's got to change, and in this case, it was De Niro.
Sleepaway didn't change much. Sleepaway Camp. It was basically the same movie.
Your ass stinks. Oh man! All right, so next movie sequel that we're going to be covering, To Boldly Go, where our sequel watching journey has never gone before. Star Trek VI: Undiscovered Country, which has a great cast. I know there's I want to say young Kim Cattrall, but she was already established. She was already a police academy mannequin by this time.
Are there whales in this one?
I don't know. I've never seen it.
How many Star Treks did you ever watch?
Ever?
Yeah.
I've never seen any of the movies.
Oh, you really?
No, I remember I've seen the old show.
So you never saw like the Wrath of Khan?
I'm gonna watch a bunch of them. I'm gonna get ready for this.
I'm not getting ready. I've only seen like 2. All right, sorry to cut you off.
And yeah, so I was for this. I was lucky enough to interview special effects and makeup master Steve Neal. Great guy. If you watch movies in the 80s, you watch something that he worked on. Ghostbusters, Saturday the 14th, Fright Night, Return of Swamp Thing. And he actually worked on the first Star Wars. Oh my God, I'm going to get yelled at already. Star Trek, first motion picture. And he didn't work on any of the other ones because he was doing all the other gigs in Hollywood. And then he ended up working on 6, Undiscovered Country. And man, he was so cool to chat with. Just the special effects in the 80s, how practical they were, UFOs, his passion for flying, and so much more. So yeah, so don't forget to review, rate, share our podcast. Follow us on all social media at Sequels Only. And don't forget to check out our website, sequelsonly.com. Good night.
Good night.